I actually was born in Live Oak, and then we moved to Garden Ridge when I was 5 years old. So I lived on the outskirts of San Antonio the majority of my life. We were actually the first Black family to move into Garden Ridge.
Oh my
First
gosh.
Black family too. So I used to be on the floats all the time and wave. I guess I was
Really?
yes, the proud little girl that was on the floats all the time, and we sure were. And was born and raised in Garden Ridge from that point. My daddy was he was one of the head executives of MHMR, mental health, mental retardation.
Yes.
Then when he retired from that, he actually did a youth with high potential program on the east side, which me and him did a lot of work together with that, along with Miss Hargrove. And we mentored over 200, 300 kids on the east side of town that I still talk to today. So that was a huge project that my dad actually passed away doing, and that I've tried my hardest to kind of continue in his legacy through my radio station. And my mother was an educator. She was a counselor, she was a teacher, she was a vice principal. She worked in the Judson district. So she worked at a lot of the different schools, Kirby, and the elementary school over in the Judson district. So she did a little bit of everything. She was an educator.
Right, that's very interesting. So do you have siblings?
No, only child.
Only
Nice and spoiled.
child. Only child.
That might explain a little bit of my craziness.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. So I was very spoiled. I remember having too many Christmas presents. I would get tired opening up my Christmas presents. My dad would be like, hey, you have more over there. I had a closet full of toys that required, more than one person to play. So every time someone would come over, I would go and throw out 10 toys and like, let's play all of these.
Right. Oh my God.
So I had a lot of imaginary friends, which actually helps me with my business now, being in the radio business, having to talk by yourself, but to millions of people, you have to kind of be a little crazy a little bit. So, I use my imaginary friends today. Still radio.
That's interesting. But did you have a lot of friends come over when you were growing up since you were an only child?
Only child, and also being the only African-American child as well. And I played tennis as well. So we had a lot of different kids that my dad, I would say, shipped into me, because to make sure that I had different friends and culture, different organizations. Jack and Jill, we were a member of that organization growing up. And I played tennis, so we had a lot of the neighborhood kids come over, and we would always, do workouts or practice and do tennis. Same thing with karate. So my dad did. My parents did a really good job of always keeping me active and involved. But yeah, I always made my day when people came over.
Yes, my gosh. Well, it sounds like you were exposed to a lot of different activities growing up.
Ballet, gymnastics, tennis, karate, dance. It was kind of like, what do you want to do? What did I like the most? Tennis was one of the things that I became nationally ranked in. Karate, I have a 3rd-degree black belt in. I teach a lot of different stuff too, as far as kids. So it was he just threw everything at me. I used to always joke and say I was raised kind of like the Cosby Kids,
Right.
There was always a lesson in something. If my dad was trying to teach me something, he almost did move the furniture out the room to teach me a lesson. So I kind of grew up in that realm. So it was cool. Good stuff.
So would you say then that you've excelled? It sounds like you've excelled at a lot of things that you've done, nationally ranked in tennis.
Mm-hmm, definitely. I would say that I probably, in my mind, of course, we're our own worst critics too.
Right.
So when I was younger, I feel like, I was the best at so many things, but I also give a lot of credit to my parents for that, trying to keep me out of trouble, trying to keep me grounded, all of those good things. As an adult, I have even higher expectations for myself. So it's like, to me, I haven't got there yet. A lot of people are like, oh, you're so successful, you've done so well. And I'm like, girl, I haven't done nothing. I haven't done anything yet. And they'll be like, no, you've done this and you've done that. And I'm like, but that's not those were just steps those are all just steps to get to what's in my head. So if I haven't gotten there yet, to me, I really haven't done what I'm set out to do. I enjoy the small victories. But at the same time, in my mind, that's nothing.
Just getting started.
I'm just getting started.
You have quite an expectation then for yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, it's always been leaving a legacy. When my parents, both of my parents have passed away, but even when my dad passed away, even in social media, when you go to the kids' pages and it says hero, there's a picture of my father there. You know,
Yes.
when you hear these adults, these young adults now that were used to be 12 and 8 years old, and they talk about the biggest influence in their life, my dad's name comes out of their mouth, you know? And to me, that was what I wanted to make sure that my Cleaver, my last name Cleaver, and that legacy that my dad was leaving, that I could continue that and leave that same thing. So in my mind, I'm like, well, I can't leave here until I see this name on buildings, until we're in community centers, until the and I say for my family, for me and my dad and even my mom, it was love. It's bringing people together. It's enjoying the things the great things that God's given us and putting them all in the pot and watching the awesomeness grow, you know? So to be able to leave something, a legacy like that, you know, I don't want to go nowhere until I can get that.
Wow. Well, tell me, Neka, where did you attend college?
Texas A&M University. Yeah, and you know,
Bryan College Station.
Bryan College
Yes.
Station. And I got a story for everything, but the Texas A&M is actually very much of my family alumni. My grandfather was the vice president of Prairie View A&M.
Okay.
So he actually started off with my parents. My parents met at Prairie View A&M, and my grandfather was a professor at the time. By the time I got to college, my grandfather was the vice president of Prairie View A&M. So he asked me, where do you want to go to school? Do you want to come to PV? Where do you want to go to school? And I said, well, I want to play tennis because I've been playing tennis, you know, forever. And so Texas A&M had a good tennis team and things. And so I said, I'm going to go to Texas A&M instead. And instead of Prairie View. And so I went there and I had a great opportunity to actually work for the chancellor, started my own sorority, you know, did all kinds of fun things, you know, that didn't have anything to do with tennis. I had nothing to do with tennis. I thought I came here to play tennis, but I didn't do that. But I did. I started a sorority called Phi Gamma Chi sorority in 1996. It's a multicultural organization that just kind of did exactly what I was saying. We bring all of our talents together and we help the community in whatever they needs help in. So started that and did do a lot of parties. I was a party girl at A&M as well.
He's a party and be successful. I'm all for it.
Well, you know, and it came at that time when I realized I have to pay my rent. Remember, I'm spoiled. I was an only child. So there became one month where Daddy said, you have to pay your bills this month. And I said, well, how am I going to do that? Figure it out. Go get you a job. And so I had a really good friend that ran the burger place down there across the street from the thing. I asked him if I could rent it out. I would go buy drinks and stuff. And every first of the month, it was a party. So it's interesting now, again, having a radio station and doing the things that I do. I've been able to pull from every single part of my life to be able to say what the one radio is based on, what we want to do, and how we help, and all that good stuff.
Tell me a little bit about that, what you're doing right now.
Well, it's called Woman Radio. You know, I have in college actually I got an opportunity to talk to or be on a regular show in Bryan College Station. I wasn't getting paid or anything, but it gave me a little experience. When I got to San Antonio, I got the opportunity to take one of a very popular radio personality's place, which was Javi Henrietta, because she was on pregnancy. They just heard my voice and they were like, hey, you want to try out for this? I said, sure, no problem. Came in the next day, did an interview, they hired me the very next day. So from there, I started doing radio in San Antonio, 94.1. I went from weekend DJ to morning show host in less than a year. And took the station from 13, 14 to the top 5 within 9 months. I was around all the DJs to get those bonuses for being number one. And all that good stuff. So it was a great learning experience. After all, that is so great. I was so young. But media is crazy. It's a crazy world. So, you know, in radio, it's called flipping the station. So when the radio station was to flip the station, which means maybe they used to play R&B music, but now they're going to start playing rock music. And they're going to flip it. So the best way to do that is to get rid of your most popular personality. And that was me. So I got back because they flipped 94.1 from old school to what you hear today. So that was kind of my transition to say, all right, God, do I move? Because again, it's a small market for radio. So just build another station is doesn't work that way, you know? sure if I wanted to stay in radio. So kind of prayed about it. And next thing I know, I was helping build KROV, community radio station, and got that launched. And next thing I know, I was starting my own. And that's the One Radio. It was, I am a little bit of I want to do things my way type of gal. So I wanted to help more. I wanted to do more. I wanted to use our voice more. And in radio, you can't just do that. Like I can't, when I worked at KTFM, I couldn't just say, hey, I want you to come on here and talk about your church. That doesn't happen. You can't do that, you know. That would either cost you thousands of dollars, and really, unless you were famous, you wouldn't even be able to do it. To just come on the radio and talk. So it just made me say, like, this is a great platform, but I want it to be a platform that's useful for the community, for us, for you know, for the things that are important, and not just music. You know, so that's how I went radio. And then I started taking from all those little things from what my dad taught me, and from what I learned from karate, and I learned from tennis, and when I learned at A&M, starting an organization, sorority, and all those things, and I put all those aspects into the One Radio. And so now we're a voice for the voiceless and a platform for everybody.
So how long though, you said, how long have you been doing this?
The One Radio I've been doing this will be 6 years in August. 6 years in August. At KTFM, I was there for 3.5 years. And then I was at A&M for 3.5 years as well. While I was there, both my mom passed away, and then shortly after that, my dad passed away. So that's why I never got a chance I never actually finished college, which is one thing that has been on my to-do list, but crazy enough, only for my mom, because she was the educator. So it's like, you know, I'm gonna go get this last degree for her. But at the same time, if it was up to me, I'm working. I'm building. I'm making opportunities. We're opening doors for people. We're trying to do stuff, and I'm okay with that because I know that I have a good talent and a good skill there. To be able to teach and keep pushing. So. Yeah, it's been an interesting ride.
Tell me, what do you feel your greatest contribution has been to San Antonio? You've done a lot of things already, but what has been your greatest contribution to this city?
To me, just giving a microphone to people who would never have gotten one before. Giving opportunities to people that have never had that opportunity. We work very closely with Sinclair Group, which is a television station down here. They own Fox 35, 29, and Channel 4. We've gotten 3 or 4 of our different marketing people on television because they work with us and the station met them through us and through our marketing, and they got an opportunity to get on TV, which would have never happened before. In their mind, would have never happened. We have first-time initiatives and organizations. We had a bone marrow initiative that started for the first time in San Antonio. They called everybody under the sun and couldn't get any help. When they called us, we helped them. Once we helped them, it started opening the doors. Oh, you work at the One Radio? You know what? Go ahead and come on, and we'll let you come. So it started opening up doors for them to get even more help. But, from them even saying, we got a plaque to prove it, you were the first people to say you would help us. So to be able to provide an opportunity for people who are not just don't have one, but for people who are saying, no, I'm not going to give you that time. I'm not going to give you the mic to say what you're going to say. I think that's one of the biggest things. I know that we have helped countless Shamika's Angels, different organizations that it's their first year put away cancer, their first year ever doing anything. And because they were able to come on our radio station, because they were able to come into our events, they're still going 3, 4, 5 years later. And they've all called and said, one for you. You're the one that gave us that first mic. You're the one that gave us our first start. So we had a young lady who wanted to bust out and do her dream and says, I want to be, you know what? I want to cook. I want to be a chef. I'm going to go on this show. She's been going to cooking classes and doing small things. Came on our show. Very next day, woke up with 200 emails in her inbox of, we seen you on the One Radio. We want your help. This girl has gotten grants. She's gotten an overflow of job opportunities for her to come back and say, one for you, put me on that one time. So I think that's the biggest contribution is getting people seen that in their mind, either they would have never been seen or they would have had no clue how they would have been seen. So I feel like it's God's work.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So at your radio station, how many folks folks do you have there working with you?
We vary because we
Okay.
are I'm not going to call it a nonprofit. We're for profit. Write checks, people, write checks. But
We are for profit.
for profit. But we're community based, so it's all
Okay.
about we want to make sure that the community has a voice. I kind of see myself as a church, which means everybody around me should be doing good before I go outside,
Okay.
right? So we have a lot of volunteers. Everybody volunteers. I volunteer. Everybody volunteers. We
Okay.
pay bills first. We pay everything first, and then when we have extra, then I can give bonuses out as far as money
Okay.
is concerned. But since we have been up for about 5 years, starting from not even the ground up, but from my mind up.
Okay.
It takes about 5 years before you can start making money. We actually started making some good money in 3 years. 4 years was getting better. 5 years, I was able to pay all my bills. Yes. So now we get into year 6. I'm excited, but some really good accounts that we're looking at. But we've had anywhere from 30 people at the station to 2. So it just depends on the time, Unfortunately, a lot of folks love to be in the glory, but don't want to be in the work. So we've had times where we've had, we're working hard, and then here comes somebody, and then 22 people show up. I didn't even know all these people work here. What's your name? And then you have other times, and so it's been good, but that's also a learning experience as well, and learning how to use people's talents, especially when they want to donate their time, but not overburden their talents at the same time, because you can't compensate them with anything.
Right.
So it's a huge learning experience to figure out how to balance that.
Well, tell me, and that's all very interesting, and you've shared a little bit about this, but why do you give back to the community?
Because we're supposed to. So, yes, right. We're supposed to. I believe in God. I believe in higher power. I believe in shall I say, the spiritual system. So I know that if we lived in a world where people actually thought about other people more than they thought about themselves, we would live in a great world. I would never have to worry about myself, because as long as I was worried about you and you, there'd be 3, 4 people worried about me. So
Yes,
everybody would
that's
always
true.
have somebody having their back. Everybody would always have someone to lean on. That's the way our world works. God works. God works through other people. God works. He brings people to you. Doors that open. When they open, there's a lot of times we don't even know how that happens. But it's your energy. That positive energy, the things that you put into the universe too. So if I'm always giving, if I'm always happy, if I'm always doing stuff, people ask me all the time, people give you all the things all the time. I'm always giving things to people. So it just comes to me. I'm giving something to somebody every day. So it doesn't surprise me that somebody's giving me something, because that's the way God works. So to me, if that's how I claim, I truly believe in love. I believe love conquers all. We fix every last problem on the planet that we have on this day. Love can fix every last problem that we have on this planet.
That's true.
So to me, it's our job to make a difference. A lot of times we wait on the next person. Who's the person to do this, or how are we going to do this, or what medicine do we take to fix it? Man, you just fix it. Just you change. And put love first, and put other people first, and think about somebody else, and don't be mean, and don't. I got to change it. And it becomes that simple.
Yeah.
So that's why I help people, because I'm supposed to.
I like that. When people hear your name, Neka Cleaver, what do they think? What are you known for in San Antonio? What are you most known for in San Antonio?
Booty grabs. The booty grabs. You didn't expect me to say that.
Scratch that.
Now that is what I'm most known for. Booty grabs. I'm a booty grabber. Let's talk about it. So I love to grab booties. And when I say grab booties, y'all think, what are y'all talking about? But you know how like when you're in sports and when you're on a sports team, and you're trying to encourage people, and you just, come on, let's go. Smack them on the butt. And you'd be like, ooh, let's go. So one day I did that, and the reaction I got was just hilarious. The smile, the laughter, everything I said. I'm going to start booty slapping people. And I've been doing it literally for 10, 15 years. And when I tell you I'm known for it, I'm not even lying. Because if I don't slap somebody's booty that is used to me slap, they'll be like, are you mad at me? You haven't slapped my booty in
It's
months.
like saying
It's like hello. Like, you haven't slapped my booty at all. I feel like you're mad at me. And so I realized that I didn't that much. It's determined whether or not. But I would say between that and, of course, having a good time. You know, I throw a lot of parties, we do a lot of events, we do a lot of things. So I would hope that I'm also known for knowing that if you need something to happen, call me. If you need some help, call me. If you need a phone number or whatever, call me. And when I was 12 years old, I told my dad what I wanted to be when I grew up was a catalyst. So a catalyst. I want to be what makes things happen for other people. You come to me, I can make things happen. You're over here, I can make it happen. The bigger I am, the more pull I have, the more power I have, the more people I can help. The more ways I can catapult them into higher or greater things. So make myself better, I can make other people better. It's always what I wanted to be. I don't even know what the paycheck is.
I need people like that around, and so that's very interesting, Neka. I wonder for you, why is it important, I guess, for us to tell our own stories as African Americans?
The testimony, man, is so important. Just like it's important in your spiritual self, it's important in the community as well. From our past history of everything stays at home. From the things that we hear, what's in the family stays in the family. From the things from school, being scared to talk to a counselor or this, and keeping things inside. All of those things are not good. But I feel like as a culture, have always had to prove our strength.
Yes.
So we hid everything that weakened our strength. But yet, to make us well-rounded people, we have to deal with those things. And we didn't learn how to deal with them. We learned how to cover them up. So I just think it's important for our community to just be very aware of the things that we do and that we do on purpose. Because people purposely did things to bring us down. People purposely had meetings to figure out how to criminalize the Black man. People purposely did things to figure out how to not let us get too far up, which means we need to purposely do things to make sure they can't be successful. How do I make sure my partner gets up here, my businesses succeed, that they're not closing? How do I ensure that our kids are failing? How do I ensure that they're not dropping out of school? The only way to do that is to be involved. And the best way to be involved is to love. Because if you love, you'll want to be there. If you love your kids, you'll want to take care of them. You want to educate them. You want to be there for them. If you love your community, you'll want to clean it up. You want to spend money in it. You know what I'm saying? That love changes the whole mindset of everything. And it becomes better. So we have to tell our stories. We have to tell what we've been through so people don't know they're the only ones. They don't think, well, I can't tell nobody because they're going to judge me and they're going to do this. And to me, we got to stop saying that things are bad that aren't bad. Judging is not bad. Judging creates a better you. When you judge the things that you've done in that day, you can judge and say, you know what, that didn't get me anywhere. Let me not do that again. You know what? He did tell me that this is right. That might be stopping me. Let me change it. So if we don't have any judging, we can't even get better. That's what it's for. So we got to stop thinking of it as such a negative thing and start using it as a tool to become better. Tell your story, baby, because somebody else has been through it too. And if you don't tell them how you got through it, they're going to be in there longer when they can literally be there for a couple hours because you told them the solution. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do what she said and get out of this.
I like that.
So,
yes. Well, lastly, the last question is, what do you like most about San Antonio?
Family. The family feel. Family feel, man. It's you can hug people. They will not slap you or shoot you. You go to New York and you just wave to Black folks. You waving at. You come to San Antonio, you can wave to folks, they wave back. You can speak, they can speak back. You went to the grocery store, I can tell you about my dog, you'll actually listen. You know, it's a very just warm place.
Loving.
You know, it's money is good as far as cost of living and things of that sort. So you're not spending a whole heck of a lot of money. I don't think people in San Antonio even realize that in New York, the same apartment you live in costs $3,000. And you pay $800. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. And you have all your amenities right there. But the biggest thing with San Antonio literally is the family feel. You you can hug and you can love on anybody. If you have a huggable, lovable spirit, it will be accepted in San Antonio. It truly will.
Right.
It truly will. And it doesn't matter where you're at and who you are. You can be Hispanic, you can be white, you can be black. If you come with a smile and a hug and a taco with a Spurs shirt,
you're good.
You are good in our eyes.
Well, Neka, I hear you saying, and just the bottom line to end this interview, just love conquers all. You can do all things just by loving. And I've not heard it put quite that way before. So something to think about. Something to think about.
Just think about everything that you love and what you will do for the things that you love. I mean, even a piece of chocolate, you'll drive all the way across town because you love that donut. You love that drink. You will waste that gas. You will waste that time because you love it. So again, focus on what we're loving. Focus on what we're putting in a priority. Is it what you're eating or is it your kids? Is it what you're wearing or is it your spouse? Is it, social media or is it your church? What is it that your love is getting? What attention is taken from your love that you're giving it to? And you'll figure out what's going on with your world.
Well, Neka, thank you. You have a very interesting story. I've seen you here and talked to you a little bit, but just didn't know the whole background and Miss Garden Ridge and our tennis player and karate and all kinds of things. Wow.
Yes.
Camping. You went camping?
Oh, growing up, that's all I did. We used to go to tennis tournaments, and instead of getting a hotel, we would go to the campsite. My dad loved nature. He's a master naturalist. And again, nature, community, same thing. Nature is made up of different pieces of stuff, trees, different types of grasses, soil, rocks. Things grow differently in different areas. It could be the same piece of land, but it's going to grow differently over there and over here based on the soil, the light, and the water. Same thing in the community. As far as people are and how they're raised and what they're going to see and all those things. So when you start having appreciation that says, yes, there's 6 different pieces of grass in here, but when you step back and look at the entire lawn, it's beautiful. You don't just take out one piece, one type, you use them all, and you create nature. And that's what our community is, that's what people are, that's what it's all about. So peace and love, people.
Peace and love.